The Axeman of New Orleans is one of those legends that seems too surreal, too haunting to be anything but myth. But for the people of New Orleans in the years between 1918 and 1919, this was no ghost story, it was a living nightmare. It began, as nightmares often do, with blood. In the early hours of a humid May night in 1918, a local grocer, Joseph Maggio, and his wife Catherine were found brutally murdered in their home. Their throats were slashed with a razor, their skulls crushed by an axe left ominously at the scene. The brutality was shocking, but the randomness, this was what unsettled the people. Why Joseph and Catherine? Why this act of savagery in the quiet of night? There were no answers. Only an axe smeared with blood, whispering the first of many terrible secrets to come. Then came the others. Over the months, the city's grocers and their families, mostly Italian-American, fell one by one to the same dark fate. The killer seemed almost like a wraith, slipping silently into homes and leaving behind only blood and horror. And as the murders mounted, so did the dread. The doors were always locked, yet this figure entered as if by magic, often using the victim's own axes, as though mocking the helplessness of those left behind. People whispered that he was something supernatural, an evil spirit born of New Orleans' own mysterious, feverish air. They said he could pass through walls, that he wasn't a man at all, but something darker. The city grew tense, residents sleeping with lights on, neighbors taking shifts to watch over one another. And still the figure struck, a ghostly shadow that slipped into homes and out again, leaving death in his wake. Then, as suddenly as he appeared, the Axeman made his demands known. In March of 1919, a letter appeared in the local paper. Signed the Axeman, it read like something from a horror novel. "I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman." The letter spoke of music, of his love for jazz, and then came a twisted command. On a specific night at precisely 12:15 a.m., the Axeman promised to strike again. But there was a way out, he offered. If every home and establishment was filled with the sounds of jazz music, then no blood would be spilled. And so, New Orleans braced for a night unlike any other. Jazz filled the air, drifting from bars and speakeasies, from parlors and street corners. The whole city seemed to sway to the feverish beat, a citywide plea for mercy set to music. The night passed in this surreal symphony of terror and defiance, and true to his word, the Axeman did not strike. But the reprieve was temporary. Weeks later, the murders resumed, a violent reminder that whatever had haunted New Orleans was not done yet. It came without warning, and then, just as inexplicably, it stopped. The Axeman was never caught. His identity, motives, and even his very existence became a mystery wrapped in the mists of New Orleans' foggy nights. To this day, the legend endures. Some say the Axeman was no mere mortal, that he was a demon feeding on fear, a dark spirit brought to life by the city's shadowy secrets. Others believe he was a killer who used the mask of myth to spread terror and evade capture. But for the people of New Orleans, the truth hardly matters, because the Axeman is not just a story, he is a reminder that true terror is not always found in what we see, but in what we never see coming. And even now, as jazz wafts through the city's streets, some swear they can feel a chill in the air, a lingering presence in the night, and wonder if somewhere out there the Axeman's spirit still lurks, listening, waiting for his chance to kill again.